and welcome to another blog here on the Crochet Luna channel. My name is Claudia and I'm coming to you from Southern California on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. It's February 10th. It's the day before the Super Bowl. Yay! For some of us, we enjoy Super Bowl, and I'm one of those people. I enjoy football, and I'll be watching it tomorrow, and hope it's going to be a good game. Let's see. I have had 2 weeks of just crafty goodness. I have a couple finished objects for you, and I went to my first quilt shop. I did that last weekend, and I have video of that. I had a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, I just wanted to buy everything. It was so wonderful. But yes, let me get started with some finished objects. The first one that you will see on the videos that are to follow my intro here was a birthday present for a coworker. I actually was planning to have it done as a Christmas gift for her, but I ran out of time. That's why I never plan. I never like doing Christmas gifts because I know, it's so much pressure, right? But I ended up getting really sick over the holidays, so I didn't do much crafting. I had started this piece, and I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it and do it for her birthday. And it is, and I'll show you the pattern. It is a Amigurumi, and before I go on, I'll just say this: I love Amigurumi. I love them so much. I'm looking at one that I actually had made by Rel of the Dabbling Hook. Let me show you. This is Pablo. I love Pablo. He's the best. I've had him for years. Rel of the Dabbling Hook made him for me. Look how freaking adorable he is. Okay, he lives here at my crochet corner. I love Amigurumi. It is so hard on my hands. It's so hard. So I bought this pattern. I'll show it to you. I bought this pattern. It's a pattern for a Patrick Star. Isn't he cute? Look at him. He's so adorable. But this pattern is for a Patrick Star that's like this big. Just like, an Amigurumi that's small. So I thought, well, maybe if I go bigger, it won't be so hard on my hands. Maybe if I am working with bigger yarn, bigger hook, it'll be more manageable. And so what I did is I bought some of that, that blanket yarn, that Bernat blanket yarn, and I think I ended up with 2 skeins to do the, I did 2 skeins to do his little trousers, and I bought 1 skein of the purple. But in order for me to match the bulkiness of the pink part over here, the pink part of the Amigurumi, which was already a super bulky yarn, I actually quadrupled the worsted weight. So I took the ball of yarn, and I went through my yarn winder and I wound 2 cakes. And then from those 2 cakes, I worked from an inside strand and an outside strand. So in order to match the gauge of this yarn, I went ahead and quadrupled that. So that wasn't fun. That wasn't fun. I used a 9mm hook, and although it worked up super quick, it worked up really quick, one of the things that I started to notice is I started to build up the Amigurumi towards this part up here, is that the polyester, the polyfill was coming through. You could see it. And down here, this is a pretty dense section because, again, it's 4 strands of worsted. But up here, having it just be the bulky weight, I knew right away that I needed a way to contain that polyfill because I didn't want it poking through. And then you could see like the whiteness of it. So remembering something that Laurel said a long time ago about using like tights, like pantyhose, to stuff the polyfill and to keep it contained. so that it doesn't come through, I thought I need to find something to contain it. And I mean, I wasn't going to find pantyhose big enough to contain the amount of stuffing that I had to put in this thing. So I got the idea of buying a really inexpensive pink t-shirt at Michael's. They had them on sale for like $5. I bought an extra large shirt, and I tucked the arms in, and I put it with the collar part down, and then I just started stuffing that as I was growing the amigurumi. So the shirt actually went all the way up to here, and then actually it was pretty high up. And then what I did is I just kept stuffing and rearranging and stuffing and rearranging, and finally I was able to close it up. And I did 2 arms. I didn't do any legs, but just attaching the arms, that was difficult. The hardest part of the project, the absolute hardest part of the project, and the one that almost made me run out to the store at like 9 o'clock to try and find a gift for my friend, was the mouth. This line right here was the most difficult thing to try and get right, because without that being the right, you know, the right size, the right, you know, angle, he either looked crazy, like it didn't look right. It didn't look like Patrick. The eyebrows were a little difficult, but those were a little bit easier to figure out. But this mouth section was very hard because, you know, this is like 1 strand of worsted weight, and I was dealing with a big head, and so I actually doubled the strand, and I found a way to do it, and it took me probably, I don't know, an hour to try and figure that out. It was just insane. I don't have it to show it to you, but I'm going to put up pictures so that you can see it, and I can tell you that my friend just loved it. She really liked her Patrick Star. So the first thing that I finished for this video to share with you guys is a giant Patrick Star amigurumi, which I will never ever do again. My son was like, "Oh, I want one of those," and I said, "Oh, well, you can enjoy this one, but because it's not happening again." It's very hard on my hands. Working with the big yarn, with the bulky yarn, was great because it built the amigurumi really quick. I mean, it came out really, I mean, I was able to finish it relatively quickly, but it was still just as hard on my hands to do it with the bulky yarn as it would have been to do it with like worsted weight yarn. Hey everybody, it's a Wednesday, a new week. Didn't get to record Monday or Tuesday, but here I am Wednesday of a new week in January. It is January 24th, and I am going to show you the project that I'm working on that I need to finish tonight, because it is a gift for a coworker's birthday tomorrow. She hasn't seen it. She has no idea she's getting this, but a long time ago, she told me that one of her favorite things, one of her favorite characters was Patrick Star from SpongeBob. I got this great pattern off of Etsy for a Patrick Star. So let me show you what I have. So here is the pattern. As you can see, it looks to be a, you know, good size Patrick Star, but it's not supposed to be like huge. But I decided that I was gonna mega size it, and so here's my Patrick Star. I may have made him a little more than mega size. So here's the back, and I need to attach that little piece right there. But then here is the front. He's got already his little purple patch right there, and then here's his eyes, Patrick Star eyes. And this is made with that blanket yarn, which is really, really soft. I really like this yarn. And then this is worsted weight yarn that I am holding quadruple, I think. Yes. Holding 4 strands of this worsted weight yarn to try and make it match the weight of the pink yarn. I don't have a lot left, and I still have to make, I have to make 2 arms and 2 legs, and then just this little bit of the head, which I think I'll be fine. And I actually had him stuffed. I was already working on stuffing him because in the pattern you can stuff it and you work as you go. But you know, one of the things about amigurumi that's always challenging is attaching limbs, and I feel like it's gonna be maybe easier to attach like this patch and the little legs while it's not stuffed. At least these patches here I'm going to attach. I have one for the front already done, and then for his booty over here I need to attach the second one right here. So I'm going to do that, and wish me luck because I got to get this done tonight. It's Thursday morning, and I finished my Patrick Star last night. Didn't even stay up that late, which was great. So let me show you. Okay, first I have to tell you before I show you, I have never ever crocheted an amigurumi of this size. And actually, I'm not a huge fan of the action of making amigurumi. Like crocheting amigurumi is not my thing because it's so hard on the hands. So I love amigurumis, and I have mad respect for everyone who makes them. I'm just, I physically have a hard time doing it. So I'm not one to work on amigurumis. So before I show you Patrick Star, be kind. I've never done anything like this. He's a little wonky. He's a little wonky, but I made him with a lot of love. So here we go. He's getting bigger. There's my Patrick Star. Can I tell you the hardest thing to do was this mouth. This probably took the longest time. This simple line here was the hardest thing I had to do in this project. And then the little belly button was a little hard, but not as hard as his mouth. So he's very squishy. I made him out of that Bernat blanket yarn. And in the video, you might have seen this like pink fabric that was popping out while I was stuffing him. And that is because I noticed that the stitches were spaced out enough that I was afraid that the stuffing would come out. So what I did is I purchased a pink t-shirt, and I put it in the Patrick doll, you know, the amigurumi. And as I was stuffing it, I was actually stuffing the t-shirt. So when you look at the stitches and in between, this here that you see here, right there, that's actually a pink t-shirt. That way the stuffing will not be coming out through the space of the stitches, because I did feel like these stitches were a little bit big. But overall, I am super happy with him. I mean, he's just wonky, but it's Patrick Star. I mean, right? I feel like saying 36 hours later. So yeah, that's my Patrick Star. So next, one of the things that I did was sign up for Rosina's test crochet of the pattern that she launched, which is this one right here, Little Fluffy Clouds. I wanted to be a tester for that pattern, but I failed miserably because I got sick. So I have the yarn, I did the swatch. Here's my swatch. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that pattern. It's absolutely gorgeous. I have not met gauge, so I am slightly bigger than the gauge of the pattern, but I've done the math. I like how open it is. I like the fabric that I have at this gauge. So what I'm actually doing is I'm going down, I think, one size. I'm going down one size. I'm going to still keep same hook size because I like the way this came out. But I'm going to go down a size on the pattern so that it will fit, hopefully. So don't want to go down a hook size. I think if I go down a hook size, these will be a little bit too dense. I don't want them like that. I like the way this looks. And if I have done my math right, if I've done my measurements right, I should be okay just by going down a size on the pattern. So that's what my current whip is. I've just started chaining for the pattern. I mean, look how pretty that is. That is going to be so nice. I've just started doing the very, I'm like chain X amount. That's where I'm at. But that's what I'm going to be working on while this was drying, because one of the things that Rosina suggests, which I think is brilliant, is that after you take it out of the blocking mats, that you just kind of let it rest to see exactly how it's going to come back and how it's going to rest. After 2 days, it took 3 days to dry the swatch because it never stopped raining in San Diego. It just didn't. Did you guys see some of the footage of the shenanigans that happened here in San Diego with the rains? Because we were not built for rain. It took 3 days for the swatch that I only sprayed. I didn't completely submerge it in water. I sprayed it. I blocked it. 3 days for this thing to dry. So while I was doing that, I got it in my head that I wanted to work on something bulky, and I came across a pattern. It's this one right here. It's called the Pavement Crochet Infinity Scarf by Fiberflux. Look how nice that looks. And I happen to have exactly this yarn, so I made one. This is mine. Nice and big. I love the colors. I like the way it came out. It's just, I think I have almost 3 balls of this yarn in this pattern. Or do I lie? Let me see. Yeah, I have almost 3 balls of this yarn. I think it comes in balls of 87 yards. It's a super bulky yarn. Wore it on Friday. Kept me so warm. I love it. Very simple. Nothing fancy. And I finished it in one sitting. Less than 2 hours, I was done with this. And it has been a really long time since I have worked on something that I have finished so quickly. Now I'm addicted. I want to make like 5 more. But anyway, this is FO number 2. And I'm happy. I'm really happy to be crocheting again. I'm really just enjoying it so much. And I'm looking at my stash with like renewed love. Like, it's just, I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing so many possibilities. And I have a lot of bulky yarn and bits and pieces of bulky yarn, so I might do like a scrappy one of these. Already at work, one of my coworkers is like, oh my god, I love it, you know. And I said, do you want me to make you one? And she said yes. I think I forgot to mention that the bulky scarf that I made, which is this one right here, is part of an along that I've joined. And this is my entry for the reading club, the book club that's run by Caroline for the love of crochet, I believe. I will link her channel below. And the book that they chose to read was Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. So this is the book that we read. I mean, it's like a 6-hour book that you listen to, and it's free on YouTube. You can, that's how I listen to it. It's free on YouTube. If you go to, and I think what I'll do is I'll link her channel and the episode where she talks about the book club, because she gives you the links of the free audio on YouTube, as well as I think there's a series, like a mini series that they did based on the book. So I love the cover, and this cover, this book is my inspiration for this bag. I love, you know, I have elements that kind of remind me of some of the things that are in the book. You know, like, you know, I've got this here because it's a murder mystery, so there's deaths. And, you know, there's stuff to do with the bees, and just this like old-timey skeleton guy, and there's poison. So I just went through my like scrap bin, and I found scraps, and I kind of built this little story panel for my next bag that I want to work on. But I like the book. You know, I've read some Agatha Christie. I would have to say, even though I think this is one of her best-selling books, it was not my favorite story. It was, and I won't spoil it if you want to go read it. Like I said, if you want to listen to it. But there's elements about this story and the structure of the story that, to me, left me quite unsatisfied at the end. I mean, this book is huge. I think it was one of her biggest. It's like a bestseller. It has all these accolades. It's got all this stuff that goes along with the book. And I would just say, for my personal taste, not one of my favorite stories of hers. So, but I enjoyed it. I mean, like I said, it's a quick listen. It's 6 hours long, and I think I knocked it out over a weekend while I was and that's the thing about when you have like a grouping of something like that, like either, you know, you're watching a show and you're working on a project, or like for me, listening to the story while I'm putting together, you know, scraps of fabric and stitching and doing all this kind of stuff, that really creates like a bond of the experience. And that's super enjoyable to me. Like, I love that. I think that there's something really magical about, you know, having these elements come together. And I know that I have shawls that when I put them on or I see them, it takes me back exactly to that time when I was working on that project, and have very strong associations with what was going on during the working of you know, that particular piece. So that was fun. I really like that. Like I said, I'm just really enjoying crafting right now, and I'm really fueled up. I'm really just filled up with creativity right now, which is so much fun. So last weekend, I went to my first quilt shop, and it is located in San Marcos, California. Had a really, really good time. It's called, every time I record, my dogs want to drink water. They want to go outside and bark. They just, I don't know. they're just disruptors like that. They just, maybe they just want to be part of my videos. I don't know. Maybe I should start interviewing them. I don't know. Anyway, I went to a quilt shop. It's called Quilt in a Day. It's in San Marcos, California. Had a lovely time. Super friendly lady who was working there. I have to say, and I'll be completely honest with you, I didn't know what to expect. I had that moment. There was that moment when I got out of the car where I'm like, I hope this is going to be fun. And I hate that. I really hate that I end up in that place when I go to places like that. And as soon as I stepped in, I was welcomed and I was made to feel very comfortable. And, you know, I made it clear to her that I know nothing about quilting and nothing about fabrics. And she was just lovely as could be. So I went in there because I was looking for some needles. I was looking for needles. I was also looking, wasn't really in the mood to shop for fabrics. I have plenty of fabrics. I wasn't looking for fabrics. More tools. I wanted to see in terms of tools what I could find. And I found the needles, which, wow, they make such a difference. I bought some needles that, when I compared them to the needles that I used to make this bag, I mean, there's no comparison. They're just much thinner, much smaller. And they just make for hand quilting the fabric that much easier. So I also was looking for some thread, which I actually didn't buy there. I've been hearing about, is it Orifil thread from different quilters. But that thread is like $15 a spool. And although I don't mind spending money on good supplies, I feel like I'm just not there right now. And I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing. And Joann's happens to be having a huge sale this weekend. You buy 3 threads, 3 spools of threads, you get 3 free. And that's what I did. I found a really nice combination of thread colors that I bought, and they are made for hand quilting, so I thought I'll give those a try. That's what I've been using on this piece. There's my wonky stitches right there. You can see them. I bought some thread that I'm playing around with. These are the colors that I bought. This is I think this is a German brand, and I don't have my glasses on, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. But I bought these, which I thought were gorgeous colors. And then I bought these. So it was $4.70 a spool for this thread. It's a 100% cotton for hand quilting. You bought 3, and then you got 3 free. I thought that was a really good deal. And then I bought wax, which I've been using, and it does feel different. Like, it does make a difference. So I'm glad I'm using the wax. So you run your thread through the wax, and it kind of keeps it from tangling up and curling. And I'm trying things out. I like it. And the needles that I bought, I was looking for, I think they're bottom needles, but I got these. And they have been working out great, so I was really happy with that. But that's all I've, in terms of supplies, that's all I've bought. I wasn't really looking to buy fabric. Anyway, I don't even remember where I left off because my family came home. But the last thing I wanted to show you, so I was mentioning that I went to the quilt shop and was not there to buy fabrics, but they had a scrap bin, and you could buy scraps by the pound, which I've never seen before. And if you notice, I noticed, is that when I was putting my bags together, there's I'm sort of recycling the same colors and of fabrics, because that's what I have. I have these kind of fabrics in my scrap bin, and I thought, what a perfect way to inject some new colors into my scrap bin than by buying a pound of scraps. And that's what I did. So this is my newly revitalized, replenished, scrap bin. Some of the pieces are just so lovely. Like, look at this one. I love that. And these colors are so pretty. There's so much. I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but there's so many, like, just cute little pieces of fabric. Like, I even have some, like, little pre-cut squares. I thought that was really cute. Just, to me, like I said, it's just like, it just kind of fuels my imagination. I just love it. Even little pieces like this. I know that I can do something with them. And I didn't have, like, a lot of, like, that's gorgeous. And the fabric is really nice. Like, this is a really nice fabric. I feel like this is going to open up more avenues of creativity, having a little bit more colors to work with. Like, look at that. I mean, I don't even care that it's cut in half. I mean, I just like the way that looks. Anyway, scraps are fun. I'm totally digging it. I can't wait to get started on the next one. I already want this to be done so I can get started on the next one. But that's where I'm at for this week. I've got my FOs. I've got my stitching project. I want to really put the time into the cardigan so I can get it done, because it would be pretty fabulous if I could finish that cardigan and be able to wear it before it gets too warm. Mention that I am working on a series, on a project with my husband that I want to share with you guys. My husband is actually going to be a professor at one of our local universities here, and he is focused on leadership and business and things like that. And I have been wanting for a long time to be able to share with you guys, with the crafting community, especially those of us who have small businesses, sort of just tips about how to best manage your small business. I know that, I mean, some of us, and I include myself in this category, I'm not even a small business. I consider myself a micro business, you know. That's how small I feel I am. But even then, no matter how small your business is, you still have so many things that you have to look out for. And I feel like he brings to the table an expertise that I don't have. And I have a certain expertise with my, you know, bookkeeping and tax preparation background, that I've been wanting to put some videos out there to help anyone who's going to want to get started in a crafting business. I just don't think there's enough out there for us. And I will be recording some videos. We are trying to shoot for once a month, to do videos once a month where we just sit down and maybe take some questions and maybe bring a topic or two that we can discuss. And then we can, you know, open up this dialogue for those of us who are trying to, you know, have this little bit of a side hustle and how to best approach it so that you can have success with it. Several years ago, I actually taught a class through Vogue Knitting Live. They had a program for people who wanted to have businesses in the industry, dyers and makers of all kinds, especially geared towards BIPOC vendors. And I taught a class called the Bookkeeping Toolbox. And it was a series of lectures where we talked about, you know, what you need to do if you want to start a small business, some of the important things about bookkeeping and things like that. And I really enjoyed teaching those classes. I really enjoyed sharing some of that very basic knowledge to those folks. And so I approached my husband and I said, you know, would you be interested in doing this with me? And he's all for it. We are looking to collaborate on this series of videos that hopefully the first one will come out next month, at the end of the month, where we're just going to tackle different aspects of small business. And I think that if it helps, you know, one person get off on the right foot and maybe not commit some of the mistakes that so easily can drown a business or keep a business from taking off, I think that I'm more than happy to share that with you guys. I will leave you with that, and I'll be back with another blog and hopefully more makes and progress on my cardigan. Happy Valentine's Day. You guys take care and craft with joy. Bye.